Good morning. Today we're flying from Richmond, Virginia up to Harbor Springs, Michigan. My favorite day of the year, heading back north. Got my brother Bill along for the flight with me today. He's a former Army Apache pilot, a big reason why I wound up in aviation in the Army. It's an hour and 15 minutes for the trip up today, about 1,300 pounds of fuel. The weather is absolutely beautiful. It'll be a whole lot cooler when we land up there. So hop in and ride along with us.
All right, welcome everybody. This is our flight up to northern Michigan. I have my brother Bill with me. We are leaving Richmond Executive on our annual trek back up there, and Bill was kind enough to not do a 15-hour drive and make our 1 hour and 50-minute flight up here. So, Stomach clearance, HondaJet 682 Tango Mike on the ground at Chesterfield County, IFR to Mike Golf November.
HondaJet 682 Tango Mike, you're clear to Mike Golf November airfield as filed. Maintain 2000, expect flight level 430 within 10 minutes after departure. Departure frequency 126.75, squawk 6525, hold for release.
HondaJet 2 Tango Mike, copies cleared to Mike Golf November via as filed. 2000, expect flight level 430 within 126.75, 6525 in the squawk, hold for release, 682 Tango Mike.
Honda 2 Tango Mike, reback track, you may call when you're ready to go.
2 Tango Mike. You're going to see a lot of similarities between stuff we did in the Apache. It's just a whole lot more integrated.
Yeah.
You don't have to work nearly as hard.
It's a pretty well thought out display from human factors.
Yeah, and remember, when we went through the Apache course, the one thing they said to me was like, great aircraft to fly, but hard to manage, and you are the integrator of everything.
Oh yeah.
Clearance, Unicom, departure. 6225, 2000 set.
Guess there's no ground here.
Check. Nope, and control field. Brakes, nose wheel steering, flight instruments, good. Takeoff briefing. V1 is 103, rotate is 109. If I see anything before V1, well, power off, max braking, maintain runway alignment, terminate the takeoff. Anything after V1 will take off, assess the emergency, figure out where we're going to go. Probably going to go into Richmond International, but we're going to have to burn off some fuel to get in there. Super quiet.
I've noticed that, yeah.
Everyone always is like, hey, we want to hear engine noises. I'm putting them in. I'm gonna find some way. I thought about getting a voice recorder and sticking it back there and just like, you know, cranking it up with bass boost or something like, oh, there's what the engine sounds like.
Right, do it.
Clearance, HondaJet 682, Tango Mike is runway 15, ready to go at Chesterfield County. Can't hear you. I can't hear you.
Control airspace heading 240, maintain 3000, release for departure.
Okay, controlled airspace heading 240. Up to 3,000 and clear for takeoff, 682 Tango Mike. It looks clear. I'm going to bring traffic up on your side.
It does look clear.
Okay. Not a terribly short runway, but short enough that I do a max performance takeoff. So.
Sure you're not trying to impress me?
I'm always trying to impress you, Bill. Okay. Okay, runway 15, identify. Takeoff power is set. Achieved. Giddy up.
Some nice acceleration.
2 good engines. Airspeed's alive both sides. '89 cross check. V1. Rotate. Positive rate, gears up. 3130, flaps are out. Power's coming down. To MCT. 15 degrees, pitch up. Start our right turn now.
Departure Moxie 2-6 going through 1.2 up to 5,000.
Chesterfield County, HondaJet 682, Tango Mike is right, crosswind departure, runway 15, Chesterfield County. It's 240.
Our 682 Tango Mike, yep.
2 Tango Mike is up.
Our 2 Tango Mike, roger, ident, maintain 12000.
Ident up to 12,000, 2 Tango Mike.
Over top of the field, we'll enter left downwind for 32.
Tango Mike, you're aboard.
Archer Tango Mike, your radar contact flighting about 300.
300, 682 Tango Mike.
Now Archer Tango Mike, stay out to leaving.
Through 3,300.
Thank you.
Okay, I like to fly pitch attitudes, right?
Yep.
Because I'm flying angle of attack. You see, guys, angle of attack.
November, X-ray, Hotel Containers 3016.
Yeah, so
You notice we're just exiting the pattern. You're already at 8,500 feet.
the performance is really good, right?
Yeah.
And we're at ISA, so we're at standard conditions +7, right? So yeah, we're going to get less than perfect performance today. We should be able to get up to 430 though. So what happens is, as you start getting closer to your target altitude, because I set the altitude, it goes from pitch, and then it starts to go into capture mode.
Yeah. Washington 132.905, have a good day.
32905, 682, single Mike, see you, sir. See if we can get an unrestricted climb, basically. Washington Center, good morning, HondaJet 682, Tango Mike, 11,000 for 12,000.
November 682, Tango Mike, Washington Center, Roger, climb maintain flight level 200.
At 10,000 feet I go, I pitched to 10. Yeah, so, I don't know. They teach us in the type rating to use flight level change, right? So basically, it holds the speed, it'll climb you at that speed. I found in the HondaJet that I get a little bit of porpoising, and I like to fly AOA, and and work it that way.
Yeah.
Hey, in about 4 minutes, F-18 is going to pass underneath you there at 28.
Yes.
Oh, cool, thanks. Okay, I'll let you know as it gets close.
We'll be inverted to take a good look.
That's right. Yeah, so I have my brother Bill with me. Bill and I are less than a year apart. We're completely different, even though we both grew up in a military family. We're both left-handed. He went to West Point, I went to the Citadel. We both went into the Army. We both wound up flying Apaches. We both left the military into technology and spent half the year in Virginia, half the year in Michigan. But we're very different. Bill's a year ahead of me at West Point, and he went directly into aviation. One of the first round of Apache pilots, and you were probably one of the first 10 or so to go directly from flight school right to the Apache, right, without having to get a ton of experience beforehand.
First five ones.
That was pretty cool. Bill and I got stationed together a lot. Like if we had tried to do it, we've never pulled it off. But we're second lieutenants, and we're both sitting at what was called Fort Hood, Texas. I don't know what it is now. But
it's today.
So that's right.
Yeah, they picked a great guy to rename it after.
Yeah, General Cavazos. He was a baller. But I was an artillery officer. He was flying Apaches in the first Apache unit in the Army, 6th Cavalry.
Air combat.
So, we're sitting there together, and I'm out sucking down dirt in the field artillery. Learned a lot, loved it. But I was like, that looks pretty cool. 1,000 feet together. And
to quote you said that I was not really a platoon leader because all of my soldiers
124 Romeo Foxtrot contact
were smart
approach
and wanted to do a good job. Implying that I just had to show up and it all happened.
Well, this is highly subjective. Yeah, so I mean, those first,
November 5, November Charlie,
those first 3 years, it was just a lot of fun. And we were doing different stuff, but being able to
November 6, Charlie, Papa, traffic 2.
look over each other's shoulder as we were doing those. And there's 6,000 feet per minute rating. That's not bad. That's pretty flight level 220. We won't keep it forever. Pitched down to about 7. Build that speed back up.
Yeah, you were going out to NTC and I was flying the Apache and running the airship.
Southwest 2905,
So a little,
Potomac approach.
maybe a little
similar,
maybe a little different.
Good morning, Washington, HondaJet 682, Tango Mike, 24.5, climbing 270, direct orders though.
Platoon Tango Mike, Washington Center, Roger, climb and maintain, flight level 280.
280, 2 Tango Mike.
Not 27,
Yeah.
but 28.
That's right. In my last video, I was flying down to Greensboro. 30-minute flight. I had filed direct. Of course, I got this wild reroute.
Yeah.
I was like, okay. Well, sure enough, 15 minutes in the flight, or 10 minutes in the flight, they cleared me direct.
399, Washington Center,
And then,
Roger.
hey, we're going to turn you for a downwind into runway 5, right? Okay. They gave me a 1 degree heading change. I was like, it is Sunday and it might be a little slow. So Bill left unexpectedly. I came in from the field and he's like, hey, I'm leaving. What? We had an apartment together in Killeen, Texas. It's like, I just got called to be the aide for the chief of Army Aviation. I'm like, well, I guess that's pretty cool.
That's a funny story.
Yeah, it is funny.
Let's tell it later.
Well, but then shortly thereafter, I got a call that says, hey, you've done pretty well. I never could have gotten aviation out of the Citadel. I was so far down in my class ranking. 1,000 feet to go.
Number 2 Tango Mike, climbing tempo 300.
300, 682, Tango Mike.
She's going to get you to flight level 43, 1 or 2 ups at a time.
That's fine by me. This is a pretty quick flight. Yeah, so I'm sitting there, and I was on a deployment, and Bill's boss, who's a 2-star head of Army Aviation, calls me via, and I'm in a tactical environment and radios, and I'm talking on the radio to the 2-star. My boss, is listening. Everyone's listening.
You think?
I get called in. They're like, "Hey, there's some general on the radio." Oh, great. And he's like, "Hey, I'm sitting here looking at your file right now. You've done really well. How'd you like to come to be an aviator?" I'm getting, lasers through my brain, through the Kevlar through my brain. I said, "Can I call you back?"
He and I may have had a chat about that.
I imagined your fingerprints were all over it. But anyway, we.
Show me the evidence where you can't prove it.
So I wound up going to flight school. I did get into the Apache, which is what I really wanted. Because when I called the general back, I said, I want to fly Apaches. He's like, I can get you to flight school, but the rest is on you. So I did wind up getting in.
2 Tango Mike, maintain flight level 330.
330 is my previous clearance. 2 Tango.
It worked out well. We showed up at our same next duty station together. So we were at Fort Hood together, Fort Rucker together, Fort Bragg together. Then we were at Camp Eagle, Camp Humphreys. We didn't do Pentagon together.
Yeah.
FBOs 2 Tango Mike for higher, contact Washington 127.902.
27902, 682, Tango Mike, thank you, sir. Washington Center, HondaJet 682, Tango Mike, flight level 330.
November AH64 Tango Mike, Washington Center, climbing maintain, flight level 35035.
3502, Tango Mike.
Baby steps.
So the camera's off, we can tell the real stories now?
One's off, the other.
Oh, all right. Thanks for alerting me.
We can edit out anything you want, Bill.
Okay, good. That's always important.
But anyway, we show up at Fort Bragg together. We wind up commanding companies at the same time. So when I was Blue Max 6, you were Red Wolf 6.
Yep.
And that was fun. We're on the same airfield, commanding 2 Apache units at the same time. That was a lot of fun. He was in the 82nd. I was in the 18th Airborne Corps. But we had a pretty good time.
Where I started off
in the
229.
Yeah.
Man of the heck.
As a matter of fact, when I'm going through the Apache course, I'm being told I'm going to the 82nd. Great, got the patch sewn on my flight suit. The guy called like, yeah, you're not going to the 82nd anymore. Wait, why? Because your brother went there. Ugh.
Yeah.
So, that was funny. Anyway, real quick, this trip today, flying from Richmond, Virginia up to Harbor Springs, Michigan, very tip of the Lower Peninsula of Michigan. Interesting story there. We've got a family history there. Our great-great-grandfather, who we never met, helped found a little community back up there in the late 1800s. And because of that, we've grown up as military vets.
430, 2 Tango Mike, no worries.
Center Bridgehead 4332.
Build up a little smash first.
298, climbing 330.
That's what you're trying.
Thank you, sir.
Interestingly enough,
42,
aviator my whole career, I spent a lot of time on the ground with the infantry
Yeah.
correct.
1642.
Yeah, you made up for my field artillery time.
Oh, yes, I did. But it was battery management, man, when you're out there
Yeah.
rucking around everything you need for several days. And those big old batteries.
Oh, yeah.
The radios that can talk to the aircraft.
build up a little speed here, and then we'll start our climb. Yeah, we're ISO +2. That's not bad. It's negative 52 degrees outside. All right, we can start the climb.
Yeah, I like the way the panel's really intuitive.
So, I mean,
it's my first time sitting here,
yeah,
and it's not hard for me to comprehend all the key data. Did I say this is my first time in the aircraft? How long have you had this plane?
Your daughter got a ride. All right, I'm going to go ahead and shut off cameras, and we'll catch you on the descent back into Harbor Springs. All right, welcome back, everybody. We're on the descent, coming through flight level 240, just over Saginaw Bay on our way into Harbor Springs, Michigan. An easy flight so far, smooth and great weather. There's no traffic up at flight level 430. There rarely is. Okay, we had a couple. Jet's been performing great. Nice to get a chance to fly with my brother. We've flown every aircraft we've had together, except this is the first time in this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're a good crew.
Yep. Well, it's nice to have somebody that got trained the same way you do. You look at it, for this, you know exactly what to expect. There's no surprises.
Yeah.
You don't touch anything that you're not supposed to touch.
Yep.
Yeah, so we're going into Harbor Springs, Michigan. I'll put a picture of it up there for you all to take a look. It is an absolutely gorgeous spot. Our great-great-grandfather, who was a judge in Michigan, helped found a little community down there. And so even growing up as military kids, where you're not from anywhere, we had the opportunity to take advantage of something that was set up well before our lifetimes. We still get to do it.
32.4.
So it's always fun making the track up. The one place that I go to where I have childhood memories. Since we were scattered all around the globe in some of the most god-awful places on the planet.
Yep.
All right, through transition altitude. All right, I'm gonna put up the Harbor Springs Unicom. So we're coming up to the western tip of the peninsula in Michigan. So hopefully, if visibility is good, it's a little hazy right now. You can see a little Lake Michigan and Little Traverse Bay as we come in. It's funny, 90% of the time you land on runway 28 here. The predominant winds are out of the west. Today they're light, but they're favoring runway 10. I set the approach up for 10 for the RNAV. We won't need it, it'll be a visual, but it's always nice to have. One, to get the guidance, especially on landing on a runway. I haven't been for 6 months, and the runway 10 that I rarely use. There's a ridge line that we're going to cross on our heading into Harbor Springs. Always get mechanical turbulence going over that ridge line. I made a comment about mechanical turbulence flying into Greensboro on the last video that we put up. Got a comment from a glider pilot. It's like, yeah, we call that lift.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah. Okay, descending through 8,000 feet. Starting to pick up a little bit of the Michigan terrain and a little bit of the turbulence. Sometimes when I come up to open, the lake's still frozen.
Yeah.
With snow on the ground.
Always 3397, level 230.
It's unusually warm up here today.
Well, it's been unusually warm for the last, there wasn't much of a winter at all. Leave a little camera on. Looking out the front window, just to kind of check it every day and see what's going on. And this community that our great-grandfather helped found, it's seasonal. So, first week in November, we have to leave. You have to shut down your cottage and leave. And then we cannot come back until the last week of April.
Shut down the cottage and winterize it so the winterize don't freeze.
I laugh. Hey, my cottage is 170-something years old. I don't know about yours. The only insulation I have is what the squirrels have deposited in the walls over the last 1,000 feet ago. Over the last 170-something years. I don't have auto throttle. But we have a version of it called cruise speed control. So I have certain parameters met. I can basically hold N1 plus or minus 5%. Cruise speed control. Love it. Running about, down at this altitude, we're running about 500 pounds per side. So if you look on your speed tape now, you got that little magenta speed bug. Mm-hmm. And you can see up here in your guidance that CSC, cruise speed control. So if you're level flight, autopilot, your N1s are in the synchronized range. You hit CSC and it'll hold you plus or minus 5% of N1. So it's a
oh, so it controls engine power.
so it's a poor pilot's
airspeed.
auto throttle.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
Yeah, but it keeps me, so it when I hit CSC, it'll set a speed bug there, and what it's trying to do is hold that speed plus or minus 5%. So it's nice to have.
It's a means of getting what you want.
Yeah, I mean, it helps, especially when you're, trying to make sure you don't exceed a speed limitation.
Yep.
A little hazy out there over Little Traverse.
It is.
All right, we're going to start zooming in on our traffic. So I put the approach plate up there. It's a geo-reference approach plate, which is just kind of nice to have. I briefed the approach before we turn the cameras back on, so don't anybody yell at me in the comments.
I'll yell at you.
Thanks, Bill.
But I'll wait till the most task-saturated point of the approach.
Yeah.
Really yell.
And this is so much easier than driving. It's 15 hours for you?
It's 12, depending on how long they stop from
Okay.
where I live. Yeah.
Yeah.
Long drive.
Got Unicom back active. So we both do a lot of sailing up here.
Got your 100, Roger.
Absolutely pristine place to spend time on the water.
Yeah, sure is.
Minneapolis Center, HondaJet 682, Tango Mike, Harbor Springs Field Site.
November 682 Tango Mike, clear cruise approach Harbor Springs Airport.
Cancel IFR 682, Tango Mike.
For 682 Tango Mike, IFR cancellation is received. Squawk VFR frequency change approved. Good day.
The lake is so clear. Fly
Over
above it on a
971
sunny
Charlie
day.
Delta, squawk
It's
2463.
almost like flying over the Caribbean.
Yeah.
With the different colors of blue, and when you're sailing, you can see down like 40 feet. 50 feet.
Exactly. We're going to fly the full approach.
Cool.
I tankered up here. I squeezed as much fuel in as I possibly could because it's about $2 a gallon less in Richmond than it is in northern Michigan. So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna tank her up.
Wait a minute, you're saying in a wealthy resort community, they might try to charge you more?
Maintain 9,000.
Although you have to make a pattern so wide in this jet. You used to buzz bay view before you turned
I know.
downwind.
Yeah. Those days are.
Yeah.
I'm responsible, Bill. I'm a responsible guy now. There you go. All right, speed's coming back. Cruise speed control is kicking off. Flying over the town of Petoskey, getting ready to, looking out over, well, you can see Beaver Island off our nose, turning over Little Traverse Bay.
Yeah, I'm looking down those beautiful turquoise waters right now.
Oh, I know.
It looks like
so
Caribbean.
amazing. I know it's way too cold in there to go swimming or sailing, but man, I'm ready to go.
We learned that when we learned to swim in this in July, and it was so cold
So cold.
that your lips turned blue.
Yeah.
Vertical track.
Up bridge as we come in, I can see the water. A little hazy today.
Okay, yours coming down.
Nice turnout on the approach. Lined up nicely.
Sweet. Fully configured. Coming down for ref airspeed. See the runway out there, looks really tiny. 4,149 feet. So on these, instead of shooting for the touchdown zone, I shoot for the numbers. So I will come in a little bit below glide path. I just like to have as much runway as possible too.
Harbor Springs traffic, HondaJet 682 Tango Mike is Zappy on a final on the RNAV 10 Harbor Springs.
So I will tell you right now, and I already know that you're going to freak out when I don't flare.
That'll be a little different.
Yeah, it's a little different. First time I was landing this plane, I was with a mentor pilot, and I started to flare. He put his hands and pushed it forward. He's like, "Don't flare." What are you talking about? I have to drive this jet into the ground. He's like, "Trust me." I'm like, "I don't trust you."
I'm not a carrier pilot. There's no wire to catch.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. It is exactly like you're flying an AOA, right? So
Yeah.
you know, pitch attitude. It's funny. Bill and I both train the same way, And I spent about 3 hours in the cockpit yesterday helping a guy who's transitioning to a company called Volato. They fly HondaJets. I'll put the link up there for Volato. I really like their business model. But he was an F14 guy, Tomcat driver, and both Bill and David yesterday, the first thing he said is there an AOA indicator? Yes.
Flying over the point in Harbor Springs.
Yeah, so nice. Some of the docks are starting to go out. You can tell there's been no ice here for a while.
Yep. A lot of the docks are out already.
Yeah.
Flying over the pier where my daughter will be working.
Don't forget the tip. The VASI here, you all
Minimum.
continue. You all see the VASI here, that is, it's
500.
not accurate for the approach. It's not on a 3-degree pitch, so. No comments about not following the VASI. Autopilot's going to go. Clear of obstacles. Coming down, power's off.
You're right, that no flare did freak me out a little bit.
Yep. And I just got the brake, just got the brake upgrade on this plane. These brakes are awesome.
You have plenty of room.
Yep.
Didn't hurt that you were prepared to go longer if you needed to, but
Well, that's the whole thing, right? That's the whole.
runway behind you.
I can stop this airplane less distance than I can stop the Piper Malibu. It's just the brakes in here are so good. It's really nice on a dry runway. That helps. Shout out to HondaJet for that brake upgrade.
Welcome home.
Thanks for flying along.